Morning, this is Gracie Opulenza and I'm all about eccentric and opulent lifestyle. You can find out a lot more about me on gracieopulenza.com. Olive oil. We're looking at olive trees. Spain and Italy for the last 2 years. We're in an olive oil crisis due to the weather, due to diseases in Puglia, and due to extreme heat and no rain. Olive oil is doubled in price. It's the first time I've come into Italy where I've got Italians apologising to me for the price of olive oil. Now, I live also in Koh Samui, Thailand. We have a coconut issue as well. That's doubled in price since I left 4 weeks ago. And that's due to China buying it up for the Chinese New Year, also for corruption, but the Thai government's onto it. What is the Italian government doing about the crisis of olive oil that is doubled in price? What is the Italian government doing about olive oil that it's doubled in price? The core tragedy is also with creating olive oil. It requires a skill regarding pruning of the trees. And I've been first-hand witness during the pandemic. I lived on an estate and I saw with my own hands the skill that is required for maintaining the olive tree so that each year it produces the best possible olive oil out there. What shocked me the most, that it wasn't the Italians pruning the tree, let alone picking the olives. It was people from Romania. This is a worldwide problem, even when it comes to Luang Prabang, Laos in Asia. People, the younger generation, do not want to sow anymore. Why should we, they say? It's too hard work. It's too much of a beneath me career. So here we are. Olive oil has doubled in price both in Spain and Spain and Italy due to the weather, due to the heat, due to the lack of rain. But what you need to understand is that with the olive tree, each year it needs to be cut in a very, very unique way so that it will produce olives for the next olive oil season. And if you don't know how to do that, if we're not teaching that to the younger generation, it's a lost art. Just last week, 200 more factories in Tuscany, leather factories, are closing. The Agnello family sold Fiat, sold Maserati, part of Ferrari. The Italian beautiful historical history is being bought by conglomerates. And what's the Italian government doing about it? Not much at all. So let's go back to the olive oil. I've bought olive oil here in Umbria. Umbria olive oil is different to Tuscany olive oil, different to Puglia olive oil, different to Greek olive oil, different to Spain olive oil. For the mere fact of heat, terrain and soil. So here we are. I can see that this castle here has been restored by a person from Bologna. My goodness. But the same passion, the same grit, the same tenacity of that castle being rebuilt needs to be enforced by the Italian government, the Spanish government, regarding the preservation of our olive oil, our olive groves. I met lots of farmers in Tuscany that will give me their olive plantations away. They can't find younger people to pick olives, to learn how to prune the trees. No one wants to work on the farm. Let me tell you a story about Elon Musk and what's he saying. That because of artificial intelligence, we're going to have more time on our hands. Robots are taking over, kneading of the bread. packaging in factories. So what a beautiful way. We need to come back to our hands. We need to really understand what it means and what it does for us as human beings. Dust to dust, we were created. Yeah? We were created from this, in God's image. Right? So me coming out here, why am I out here? Touching the tree of life, the tree of hope. I'm looking for real estate in Italy. I don't know where to be, Tuscany or Umbria. I touched this tree. During the pandemic, I touched the tree for my wellness, my mental health, because this is where I've been created from, the tree of life. Now, we must, as TikTokers, as influencers, really stand for the same tenacity, the money, the grit, the madness of preserving and rebuilding this castle has to overflow in the preservation of our olive trees, right? It's cut. There's a skill that is required to cut the olive tree so that the olives grow for the next year. During the pandemic, it was the Romanians, people from Eastern Europe doing it. The Italians don't want to do it. The youth don't want to know about it. It's beneath them. They want to be footballers. They want to be the Kardashians. They want to be Gen Z. It's a generation that doesn't understand suffering. I grew up with Italian parents in Australia that dug land like this with their bare hands for food on the table, for money on the table. I've grown up on the land. I know the hard work it requires. And Jeremy Clarkson, gives you an insight of how hard it is. But he's got a career behind him. He's got money behind him. He's got Amazon behind him. But the truth of the heart of the matter, in Europe, they're attacking our farmers in Holland. My husband's from Holland. And they're telling us because it's detrimental to the environment. Hello. How can this be detrimental to our environment? It's detrimental to humanity, to our mental health, to our mental well-being, to the Italian DNA. Olive oil in Italy is like, it's like a house, shoes that are needed, clothes that need to be worn. It is what makes Italy, and I buy the Italian olive oil from the local farmers because I know that I'm going to get the real thing. Do you know what's going to happen? Or happened in the past and it's going to happen now? We've got conglomerate, greedy people that are going to fake the production of olive oil. It's historical, it's happened, and it'll happen again. So I will go to an olive farm and show you the difference of the taste, the look of real olive oil that comes from the tree opposed to Tesco, Esselunga, Marks and Spencer. You have to understand the severity of what's happening. Coconuts in Thailand, due to being extremely hot, Koh Samui, Bangkok is incredibly hot right now. Italy, it's going to be another scorcher of a year. Spain's in drought. Italy, too. It's looking green here. It's looking green, thank God. But the same energy, tenacity, grit, madness, determination of restoring that castle has to be infiltrated into our agriculture. What a tragedy that no one has and doesn't want to learn the skill and the art of pruning these olive trees so that next year we may get better olive oil. The last 2 years, the production of olive oil has dropped immensely, hence why it's doubled in price. And you're going to get fake olive oil on the market because you've got the conglomerates that just want to make money. And yet we've got an AI world that is going to give us more time than ever. Elon Musk's words himself, Mo from Diary of a CEO. We must connect back to nature. What did you do this morning when you woke up? I had birds, I had oranges locally, and I'm touching olive trees. I'm out here on a property hunt, but I'm touching the tree of life, the tree of hope. This is so important for my DNA, for my journey, for my unrelenting building a dream. Say, what could an olive tree do? We come from dust. Look at this gorgeous poppy. It's important. It's important that you connect back to the very thing that you're being created of. Dust. I grew up with dust in rural Australia. I've grown up with food on the table thanks to the land. And because we're so immersed into our city lifestyle, and not everyone can have the nomadic lifestyle that I've created. I understand that. But artificial intelligence is so taking off, and more, and what we're going to have is more time on our hands. So if you're in Italy, instead of going to Primark or instead of going into Milan, come out, do an agricultural course. Learn the art of picking some olives. It will be a game changer regarding your mental health. Look at that poppy there. So that the madness of this person from Bologna that has decided to buy it and rebuild this castle, he wants to leave his legacy. He wants to show the world his passion for being his own king of his own castle. And agricultural is that. When you come to Italy, buy locally. This morning, tomatoes locally, wine locally. That is Toddy over there, La Città di Vino, the city of wine. So I'm going, buying locally, going to the vineyards, talking, showing my appreciation, because it's for my well-being, it's for my mental health. It's also teaching my children grit, determination, artificial intelligence. You're going to have more time on your hand. Start using your hands, sewing, stitching, olive picking, tomato picking, vineyard picking. Breathe in the air. The world's getting hotter thanks to global warming. Debatable, I'm not going to go there, but what I'm encouraging you, that Italy and Spain is in an olive oil crisis. Thailand is in a coconut crisis. I live in both. I am preaching what I'm living. And yet no one wants to pick up the coconuts. Right? Machines and coconut plantations are taking over Thailand and exporting to China and the USA, because drinking coconut water is healthy. And you damn right it is. It saved my life from dengue fever. It's a rehydration. Coconut oil that I put on my body, my hair. You damn right. I understand it. So I buy it from the little Thai ladies that make it for their bare hands. When I come to Italy, I go to the vineyards and buy the wine. I go to the cheesemakers. I go to the artigiani. My passion for fashion is leather made straight from Tuscany, from people that have a passion for it. These olive trees, the tree of life, the tree of hope. The world's getting hotter. Lack of rain is why the olive oils are not producing. But I find that hard to believe, and I'm going to tell you a story, because way somewhere in Greece, heard this last year, that the olive trees are 500 years old. They've lasted 500 years. So what are you talking about? That there's not enough rain? What are you talking about? That the olive tree can't sustain a hot world? And I tasted that olive oil. 500-year-old trees. I'm not going to tell you where it is. So you're going to tell me now the only reason that we are not getting good olive oil is because people don't want to pick it. People don't want to learn the skill of cutting olive trees because it's beneath me. I want to be a TikTok star. I want to be a football star. I want to be a Kardashian. You are being lied to. Your best. And it's on the diary of a CEO, Mo. Put it in. Stress. It's the biggest killer of us all. Inflation, everything's doubled. Our governments, our leaders, our pathetic leaders are trying to convince us that you can't rebuild, that you cannot live a sustainable life. Grit, determination. I come from a chameleon generation and a child of immigrants, that we understand life without technology and life with. We understand the connection of nature, the connection to the city of wine and cheese. It's all here. And biblically, God said to Noah, build the ark, The world will not be destroyed again. And here we are in the media being spread anxiety stories over and over. Listen, you want to control your stress. You want to have vision, declutter your mind, get off those reels, get off the YouTube, give your time slot. Did you know in China, I live in Asia, 1 hour a day of technology. It's an educational law. And yet the West were just sucked up. Look at this. Does that look dry to you? Umbria. Under the Umbrian sun. I don't really want to put Umbria on the map. Here it is, grit, determination. Why on earth is this man from Bologna rebuilding a castle? He wants to leave his mark. He wants to show Italy and the world, this is who I am. I am the king of my own castle. And yet we're reading, watching doom and gloom stuff. You can be the king and the queen of your own castle. Watch what you're reading. Hang around people that want to move forward. Down there, I went there yesterday. It's a bed and breakfast. Beautiful local wine. It's stunning. €85 a night. Italy is depopulating, and because who the hell can and live and work on €1,000 a month? You can in Italy, but you're going to have to forego a few things. The Italian salary, on average, has not changed since the 1980s. Italy, the worst thing they'd done was ditch the lira. It was the richest country in the world. It still has it. It still has its car manufacturing. It still has its wine, olive trees, interior design. That made in Italy is strong if it's 100% made in Italy. And just like this guy here, clearly wants to be the king and the queen of his own castle. Well done. What's your excuse? We are made from this dirt, and you will end up in this dirt. Hang around people that will encourage and inspire you. Come to Italy. It's depopulating. If the €1 home is what you want, I can tell you, you can buy property here. You don't have to spend €1. You can spend a bit more and live in it. And learn the culture, the language, how to make wine, cheese. Prosciutto. We've got a disease now because of the wild boars. 2 million wild boars roaming around Italy, especially in Rome. What are the Italian government doing about it? It's so dire that the prosciutto company is saying the army needs to step in and basically shoot 2 million wild boars, because once the disease gets into the meat, that's the end of prosciutto. Canada is already saying we don't want it. Prosciutto will double, triple. So, where are they attacking us? Where are our leaders in government and climate activists attacking us? On our food chain. No, I can't afford olive oil. Can't afford meat. Can't afford coconuts. I am living proof. I'm not reading this. I live in Asia and I live in Italy. My husband's Dutch. I see it from my own eyes. So preserve agriculture. Touch the tree of life. That can sustain the maximum heat. I've seen it with my own eyes in Greece. 500-year-old olive trees. What a load of nonsense if I've not heard it. Does this look like dry land to you? Beautiful. Toddy, the city of wine. I've come out here. It's 4 weeks in. I'm on a property hunt. Still no success. Grit, determination. I'll get there. I'm doing things differently. Asking estate agents to help me. A little bit slow for my liking. If you want the job done, do it yourself, I say. And also I just want to reconfirm and reassure my mind, body and soul. Why am I doing this? Why am I living in Italy? Why am I talking about olive trees? Olive oil, 50% up. Coconut, 50% up. Parma ham, we've got diseases. Prosciutto. They're attacking our food chain. Want to be a TikTok star. Want to be an influencer. Connect back to the land. I'm done. I'm hot. It is warm, it's beautiful. Look at that luscious green. Down there, yesterday I buy locally. When you're in your supermarket, I know it's hard in Britain. When I'm here, Europe law, they have to have tomatoes and stuff from Romania and Holland. Bugger off. I buy the tomatoes from Italy, from the Italian soil, the olive oil. It tastes differently. Does that look like a drought? Look how luscious green that is. My mental health, my energy for the next week of property hunting. Just like this guy from Bologna, he's rebuilding, leaving his legacy, grit, determination and a lot of money and madness. Our agriculture, our olive trees, our coconuts, our Parma ham, prosciutto, agriculture, Holland, we need you. I grew up on a farm. I never went out with food, thanks to the land. Did go without clothes, shoes, Christmas gifts. But I never was hungry. And that's because of the God-given land my mum and dad worked so very hard to feed their family. Grazie mille, buongiorno. Under the Umbria sun.